What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Celtics Daily Channel with me, Mike Zakarian, as we continue to dive into all things Beantown Boys and the Boston Celtics. And do me a favor, if this is your first time hanging out, hit the subscribe. We got a fun one for you today. We got the Battle of the Bigs. We were over in Europe yesterday. Our own Mike Queta was taking on our former big in Kristaps Porzingis. We had some wild LeBron James news yesterday. We've got a fun NBA tip-off announcement from yours truly. And then, as always, we're going to get into your comments from yesterday's video at the end of the show, which is a great reminder that if you are watching the show, get involved in the comments, whether it's the live chat during the premiere or after the video's already gone live. Get involved in the comments. It's just more fun all around. All right, let's get into it. So yesterday, Portugal and Latvia squared off in the Eurobasket competition. It was like round 4, I believe. Well, technically round 1 of like the 4th game for everybody. Portugal, who got off to a hot start, right? If you guys remember, Queta had 23 and 18 in the Portugal win in their first game. Since then, though, have dropped 2 games. First to Serbia, where Nikola Jokic was hitting them with everything he had, and then Turkey, where Alpi Sengun came out and balled out. However, Queta did perform well in one of those 2 games. Against Sengun, much better. Against Jokic, not so much. But let's get into the Portugal game, because this is a stellar performance from both of them. Clearly, Queta and Porzingis have a really good rapport. We saw it after Queta's first game. They had a fun exchange, and then yesterday, they both just balled out, really. Porzingis, ready? Here are some lines for you. The Zanger had the edge yesterday. Went 6 for 14 from the field, 5 for 12. So 12 of his 14 shots came from behind the arc. He went 21 points, 9 boards, and 3 dimes. Did a little bit of everything as Latvia got the win 78-62. But it was a good performance from Queta, who went 16 points, 7 boards, 1 dime. He went 7 for 12 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, 2 for 4 behind the arc. Let's see, did he have any blocks in there too? He had 2 blocks as well. Listen, I've just been very, very impressed with Queta. I really have. And I don't know if I just was not giving him enough credit. I think when I would see him come in for the Celtics this past year, right, he would show some moments. There were some moments of excitement, but clearly Mazzulla didn't have full trust in him yet. And granted, he's a young guy, so it's not, we're not freaking out yet that he's not performing at a high level for the Celtics, but I definitely had some hesitations here, right? Now, he's super young still. He's only been in the league for 4 years. He's 26. I guess not super young, but young. And so, I wasn't super freaked out. But when you saw the front court of the Celtics, there wasn't a part of me that was like, oh, of course, we have our starting center in Mike Queta, and then we've got solid backups, right? But I think what we have seen from him this offseason is at least the potential to be, if not a starting big on a championship team, I think we can comfortably say that he could at least be a backup big on a championship level team. I don't think that's far-fetched. I don't. We do need to see if this will translate to the NBA, right? We've seen him now hit double figures in 3 of the 4 games he's played in Eurobasket. And again, those are against, NBA caliber bigs, right? He struggled against Jokic, but against Sengun and against Kristaps Porzingis, was still able to put up legit numbers. And when you compare that to what he's done in the NBA, right, he's got a career average of 5 points and 4 boards. Last season averaged 4 points and 3. Last season averaged 5 points and 4 boards. Career average of 4 and 3. So this was already room for improvement. Now, granted, when Kate is playing with Portugal, he's playing with a couple of NBA caliber guys. Obviously, when he's playing with the Celtics, he's playing with freaking Tatum, Brown, Derek White, and so on and so on. But I do think this is promising. I do have a little bit of hope and a little bit of excitement. Switching to Zinger for a second, Kristaps, I'm just happy to see him healthy, right? Just what a weird thing. I saw a funny but image going around yesterday or over the weekend on NBA Twitter. That was somebody playing the new 2K came out. Somebody's playing NBA 2K, and their player was sick and had to miss a couple of games. And they joked saying like Kristaps Porzingis has impacted NBA 2K because, just this like mystery illness that shut him down for a couple of months during the regular season. Then he came back, seemed like he was okay, but then had nothing left in the tank in the postseason. And it was devastating. I mean, that absolutely lowered the ceiling of the Celtics. They should have still been able to get by the New York Knicks in that second round, in my opinion, with the roster they had. But when you take like Zinger unlocked, and so I don't know if a lot of people call him Zinger, I call him Zinger, but Porzingis really unlocked the ceiling because he turns into a stretch five. You can play with two bigs. He was fine next to Al, but you could also play him without Al. It just really unlocked their ceiling, and so to see him, just kind of fall apart physically. I mean, we've seen him get hurt before, but this was different. This was like this weird illness. But to see him back now, and he's had a couple of really good games for Latvia after starting off slow. The 3-point shot's been kind of all over the place, and I believe of the three, what did I say he hit? 5 threes in that game. I believe 4 of them came in like the first quarter or something. He got off to a super, super hot start. So it's good to see Zinger playing a little bit better. I think it's bummed me out a little bit that we're not going to see that in green as he's heading to Atlanta. And I'm not going to be out here rooting for the Atlanta Hawks, okay? I'm not a sicko. I'm not like a full I can't do it. Maybe if they were in the Western Conference, I'd be a little bit more excited. But I'm hopeful that he's able to stay healthy and stay on the court. And I imagine he's going to make that Atlanta team a lot better. And they're in a similar situation in Atlanta where they're not going to be relying solely on him to play the big, right? They have Onyeka Okongwu, who, if you're not familiar with his game, is a really solid, just a solid big guy. He's, I feel like, a 14 and 12 guy, really good on the defensive end, offensively all over the place. But to be able to bring in somebody like Porzingis, who again could play alongside Okongwu because of the way Porzingis stretches the floor, but also could play just the 5. I think Trae Young's going to get him a ton of open looks. They're going to be, he's going to impact them defensively quite a bit too. So I'm happy to see Porzingis just like alive and well. And I still stand by the relationships that he built in Boston, both with the front office and with his teammates. Him and Jaylen Brown became super, super close. You're even seeing it, again, in Europe in the reactions between him and Neemias Queta. Not just yesterday, but like throughout. They have a solid relationship. I just want to point out, it's Porzingis' last year on his contract, right? He will be a free agent the following season. Sure, he might fit in perfectly in Atlanta, might have a great time. They might win some basketball games, and then he wants to stay there long term. But I don't think it's the craziest thing to see Porzingis come back to Boston on maybe a more friendly deal, right? He was making $30+ million. I could see him. He's made a ton of money in his career. Maybe he's like, I'd take a little less to come back to Boston and play with my guy JB. So I am holding out hope. I know some people probably have a bad taste in their mouth from like his health, right? Even if you go back to the year we won the finals, what did he played like a little bit in the first round, got hurt, comes back for like a game and a half in the finals. And I know he had that magical moment where he came in and just went nuts in like the first 5 minutes that he was in the game. But I know some people are still like frustrated with the health stuff. But me personally, still hopeful we get him. All right, let's go. That's enough on Europe. Let's get to, again, this is a slow NBA week, but we need to talk about this. And I don't know how many people saw it, but we talked yesterday a little bit about the conversation about Michael Porter Jr. calling Nikola Jokic the GOAT probably too soon. We talked about Jordan and LeBron, and then we talked about Larry Bird's MVP run. Of course, there were some comments about Bill Russell we'll talk about later. A commercial came out yesterday. A LeBron commercial came out yesterday. And honestly, I want everybody to go look at it. Go find it on the internet. Just type it in, King commercial. And there's a couple things we need to talk about. But one, it ends with him like putting a crown on and it says Forever King. And I kid you not, man, I almost thought this was going to be a Burger King commercial. And I'll tell you what, if it was a Burger King commercial, I would have been like, wow, this is really funny. I like this. Good job, everybody, all around. But instead, this is like LeBron really calling himself the Forever King, and there's this whole like dialogue. I mean, there's this voiceover the whole time of a child kind of like talking about how he went through everybody and blah 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 blah. And let me just say, this is what happens when your friends are afraid to say no to you. If you had one honest person in your life, one good friend, they would look at this, they would look at you, and they would say, hey, this is dumb. Don't do this. This is a terrible, you look like an idiot. And I feel like this is just indicative of the entire LeBron GOAT conversation, right? Where I don't recall, and again, I was a kid when Jordan was cooking, all right? So like forgive me if maybe I wasn't wrapped up in sports media as much as I am now. I don't remember Jordan ever being like, man, I'm the greatest that ever was, the greatest of all. Like, I don't remember him going full Muhammad Ali, right? LeBron has gone out of his way to let us know that he thinks he's the best of all time. And for whatever reason, it just rubs me wrong way. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's me. Maybe I have to get over it. But I just think it was a garbage commercial. It was embarrassing. I need everybody. I know I ask you guys to do a lot. I ask you to subscribe to the channel. I ask you to like the video. I ask you to get involved in the comments. I'm asking you to do one more thing for me, and it's to watch this video just so we can talk about this either in the future or in the chat, in the comments, because it was just absolute dog do. And I do think LeBron would do himself so many favors if he just didn't do that kind of stuff, right? Like his numbers speak for themselves. And I'm not one of those people like there. I feel like there's the Jordan truthers who are like, he's the best player of all time. There's no other conversation to be had. Then there's the Kobe people who honestly I don't understand, but they're out there too. There's your like, well, Bill Russell has the most rings, of course, but listen, LeBron's numbers are nuts, man. He's 40 years old. He's almost 41. He'll be 41 in December. He has been playing since freaking 2003, and he has done it from the beginning, right? He, for a career, has averaged 27 points, 7 boards, and 7 assists. And even if you're not impressed by that, you have to remember that's his career average. So even as he's been in his early years, but in his late years, he's still putting up these numbers. Like last year, put up 24 points, 8 times, 7 boards, and shot 37% from 3, right? We've mentioned he's won an MVP so many times, right? I'm just going to read some of these stuff off, right? In 2003, his rookie year, obviously he won Rookie of the Year. He finished top 10 in MVP voting. You ready? This is like in order from his rookie year on. He finished 9th in MVP, 6th, 2nd, 5th, 4th. Then he won an MVP, won again an MVP, finished 3rd in voting, then won 2 more in a row. Then he finished 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 2nd, 11th, 2nd, 13th, 10th. Did not place in 22-23. Only played 55 games. Then did not in 23 and 24. And then finished 6th in voting last year, which is kind of crazy. So in his entire career, he finished top 10 in every single year except for 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. He's been playing forever. Like that's an insane number. He's won so many freaking awards, right? And yet still he's out here just being weird, man. Just being weird. So LeBron, I just ask you, man, just stop being weird. You don't need to do it. Just let your numbers speak for yourselves. This commercial is crazy. Again, if it was the Burger King commercial, chef's kiss, we'd be celebrating you. All right, let's move on. We got a little NBA tip-off fun show announcement. I wanted to get this out to the people. It's not on the Celtics Daily channel, though. You might see me in the comments, NBA Bit with Mike Zakarian. I host a daily show over there during the NBA season, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., just talking all things hoops. It's a live stream. But I wanted to say, when we tip off, which is Tuesday, October 21st, and what did we say the first games of the year were? I know let's Google this real quick. Now I'm forgetting. I feel like Oklahoma City's involved. Let's see what's the schedule here. Tuesday, October. Okay, yes, it is. Houston Rockets at OKC, right? SGA getting his ring in front of Kevin Durant, and then Golden State and Lakers. I think it's on NBC, which is kind of weird. But anyways, all that to say, I run a tip-off marathon show. So from noon Eastern to 8 p.m., we are going live nonstop the whole time, and we'll have a bunch of fun guests from outlets like the ESPN, The Ringer, The Athletic, friends over at No Dunks. We always have like a really good turnout of guests that just come in. We have a guest every single half hour. We'll have some Splash Sports contests, which are very exciting. We've got a lot of different stuff going on. So just normally don't plug other stuff, but do me a favor, come check that out. That's going to be a really good time. I promise to have an A++ Celtics related guest that show, and I'll make sure to let you know exactly what time that is in case you don't want to do the whole thing, because 8 hours is a lot. But it's a good little second screen while you're at work. It's a fun way to get ready for the NBA season. So go check that out if you get a chance over at the NBA Bit with Mike Zakarian. All right, back to the action. Let's go over to your comments from yesterday. And before we get specific into it, two things. Just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that sub. But I wanted to make fun of one thing. Nepotism is real, okay? Nepotism is real in the NBA. Thanasis Antetokounmpo signs a deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. Can you believe it? Thanasis is back after missing a year with an injury. I do think that is notable just because there's speculation that Giannis could get traded or force his way out, right? And I think if you bring his brother back, maybe that's off the table. But they now actually have the decision to make because bringing in Thanasis, they have to get rid of one of two guys. It's either Andre Jackson Jr. or Amir Coffey, I believe. And listen, I'm a fan of Amir Coffey's game. If he gets released, Brad Stevens, get on the phone. Let's Coffey, baby. Let's get him over there. But anyways, I wanted to make fun of that a little bit. So nepotism is real. Let's get to some of your comments from yesterday. NBA update says it's time to move on from Al Horford. Give more minutes to the young core. Yeah, I know we were talking about Big Al. I just like the idea of him being in the locker room. I'm more interested in Al for next season than I am this season. I'd just say that. All right, we mentioned a lot yesterday. Yesterday about the arena being moved around, right? And maybe going into the Celtics buying their own arena. I saw one comment about the Bruins here that was like, hell no, make the Bruins move. Listen, I would love that. However, the Bruins are the ones that own it. So it's not happening. It's not happening. We got a D. Oh, a D in the chat. Let's go. So he got two comments in here. Here we go. The first one says Seaport or Business District, like the Post Office Square vicinity. Makes a ton of sense. I'd be pretty shocked if they go out of Boston proper. Yeah, I did not think about the Post Office Square vicinity, but that is a good point. There is real estate. I feel like that would make sense over there. And there's already, that's a good point. And the other one was the Seaport, which we talked about yesterday. I love the Seaport. And then he also went on to say if they were to stray out of the city, maybe Somerville out near Assembly. Yeah, that could work too. Shout out Somerville, man. Somerville, back in my day, it was cheap to live in Somerville. Now, Somerville's more... You hear that Boston accent slip out? See? If you're like, oh, this dude's from New York. I promise, every once in a while, it slips out, Somerville. But anyways, one other comment too. Bass Rock says, no. Let Al go. What are we talking about? All right, so back to the Al Horford thing. Appreciate everybody's comments in there yesterday. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right, it's the slow season, so I need your comments to sustain and fulfill the show. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit the subscribe on the way out, and we will see you next time.